Hi guys, good evening and welcome back once again to the EdWord. I'm your host Eddie, and in today's video I'll be discussing what I thought of the latest and very good episode of The Mandalorian, which dropped its newest episode today on Disney+. I just had a chance to watch it, liked it very much. Before I get into all of that, of course, please be warned, this is a spoiler-filled review, so if you're not caught up on The Mandalorian by the latest episode, you do not want to keep watching or listening, as I will be going into spoilers, plot details, character stuff, all that jazz. That being said, you have been warned, so let's dive right back into it. So first and foremost, great opening action sequence. It was awesome seeing Bo-Katan and Mando team up against the Imperial fighters like that. That was very exciting. And then the show took a surprisingly sharp turn in terms of story and character point of view. We actually got to know who was once a fairly minor villain, if you could even call him that, Dr. Pershing, who is, of course, the scientist Moff Gideon had doing experiments or trying to get blood from Grogu in the first two seasons of the show. He appeared in season 1 in at least 1 or 2 episodes, and then he appeared in the season 2 finale as well. He's the one who actually helped Mando and his rescue crew get aboard Moff Gideon's ship to get Grogu back. I never pegged him as a sinister or evil man. I felt like he was just coerced or bullied into his predicament or circumstances, because he struck me as the kind of meek and not so confident type. So I never pegged him for an evil bastard, and he was never an unlikable man or nothing like that. And I actually thought it was kind of cool how we got to know him a little bit better in this episode. And for starters, him testifying before the Senate, expressing his gratitude for this apparent amnesty program, which helps former Imperials rehabilitate and re-enter society, re-enter the new republic as, functioning citizens and not evil bastards. I think it was really interesting how they had him revealed that, when he was young, his mother was dying of some kind of disease, and if only the cloning technology had been available, they could have cloned her some new organs and she could have been saved. That explains why he got into cloning and cloning technology and why he became a scientist, and it helps us understand what motivated him to help. Well, not really help, but to be a part of Moff Gideon's plan to either replicate or just get the blood from Grogu. This probably ties into a bigger ongoing plot line that we have yet to uncover. And it sounds like from the dialogue that was revealed in this episode, Moff Gideon escaped before he could face his war tribunal. At least that's the rumor that the former Imperial officer was talking about. And we got to see another familiar face. We never caught her name, but her name was apparently Elia Kane, who was one of the Imperial officers aboard Moff Gideon's ship back in season 2. I guess she too was captured, put in the amnesty program, rehabilitated supposedly, but by the end of this episode, I'm starting to suspect that she truly wasn't rehabilitated and she's still loyal to the Empire and loyal to Gideon. And I'm thinking, why would they go through the trouble just to have themselves caught or to get Pershing caught if they didn't need him? Well, they probably needed certain tools and equipment from the lab aboard that old ship, but not necessarily Pershing. And I don't know if what she did to him by cranking up that mind flare thing, if that's going to kill him or not, or just leave his brain scrambled and he's basically going to be a vegetable. We don't know yet. We haven't seen the next episode yet, so who knows what can happen. But I feel like there's something bigger afoot here, and she's either working for Gideon or she's doing something on her own, but she's doing it in the name of Moff Gideon, so we'll see what happens. I also like seeing Coruscant again after all these years. It was nice to see it as a free democratic body once again, with the new republic now in place instead of the Galactic Empire. I also love seeing several Mon Cala Mon Calamari in this episode. You know, it's my favorite alien race of this franchise, so I love seeing representatives in the form of senators, or the one as the New Republic officer who is trying to calm Pershing down, telling him, oh no, it's not a mind flare, this is going to help relax you. And I truly believe it really was going to help him, but because she cranked it up to 11, so to speak, it did more harm than good for him. So overall, though, very good episode. I kind of liked how it took a wild turn and focused a majority, like the center of the episode, on Pershing and Kane, and then it jumped back to Mando and Bo-Katan, both of whom have now been redeemed in the eyes of their people, or at least in the eyes of this sect of Mandalorians. And now that Bo-Katan has no home anymore, seems like she's found a new home amongst Mando and his fellow Mandalorians. And now that they've both been redeemed, everything's A-okay, and things can go back to normal, if whatever normal is in Star Wars. So I am curious, now that they've wrapped up the redemption storyline for Din Djarin, the Mandalorian, in 3 episodes, what's next for him? What conflict will he and Grogu find themselves in the middle of? Perhaps a power struggle between the Armorer and Bo-Katan? Or maybe they'll get wind of some plot that Moff Gideon is behind or up to, or something like that, and they'll feel compelled to go stop him. We'll have to keep watching to find out. And I know a lot of people have been complaining about the first 3 episodes of The Mandalorian Season 3 so far, which is understandable, but let me ask you this. Would you prefer these 3 episodes of The Mandalorian over the sequel trilogy, or would you rather watch the sequel trilogy? Because I personally disliked the sequel trilogy very, very much. That was Force Awakens, Last Jedi, Rise of Skywalker. Personally, I feel like none of them should exist. That's how strongly I feel about it. I would take these 3 episodes of Mandalorian, which may not have been necessarily the best episodes, but they've been very entertaining, and all 3 of them are vastly superior to that crappy sequel trilogy. So, you know, be mindful of what you bitch about, is what I'm saying. Then again, what do I know? So maybe you shouldn't listen to me at all. But that's just my 2 cents on it. As my shirt says, I have spoken. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode of The Mandalorian and liked it as much as I did. What did you think of it? I'd love to hear your thoughts and feelings on it. Thank you so much for watching. The Mandalorian drops new episodes every Wednesday on Disney+. Have an awesome rest of your night if I don't see you. And of course, until next time, may the Force be with you.